me, Star Trek was always the best.
You don't get to make demands
what
of the
games
council,
really have
ambassador.
sparked your interest in
Citadel
like
Security
and, like,
is
space
investigating your
exploration?
charges against Saren. We will discuss the CSEC findings at the hearing, not before.
Captain Anderson.
You with me? Hold on a second. I want to make sure I'm recording this still.
Oh, yeah, that'd be important.
Okay, we had to... Damn, we missed out in the last 5 minutes. Okay, this is 5 minutes, so we can keep
Saren's
going.
their top agent. They don't like him being accused.
But no, I mean, what games really have spoken to you about space exploration and really has gotten your inner nerdy child going? For me, it was always Mass Effect.
Saren's a threat to every human colony out
Not
there.
Mass Effect
he needs
for
to be
me.
stopped. The council has to listen to us.
Settle down, Commander.
So there's a few games that really
done
get
enough
that,
to jeopardize your
just that
candidacy for the
I want to go
Spectres.
see space
The
kind of stuff
mission on
going.
Eden Prime was a chance to
The
prove you could get the
first
job
one
done.
is
Instead,
Elite
Nihilus
Dangerous.
ended
Yes,
up dead
everybody
and the
knows Elite
beacon was
Dangerous. Elite
destroyed.
Dangerous. Yes.
That's Saren's fault.
Lots of
not his.
space. It's
Then
awesome.
we better hope
You
the
get to do your
CSEC
own stuff.
investigation turns up evidence to support our
EVE
accusations.
Online
Otherwise, the council might use this
has
as an
a
excuse to keep you out of the
place
Spectres.
there as well.
Yeah.
Come with me, Captain. I want to go
You know,
over a
for
few
me,
things
it was
before
always
the
Destiny
hearing.
2. The Destiny
Shepard,
saga always
you
kind
and
of
the
brought
others
that out
can
of me
meet us
too.
at the Citadel
Exploring the
Tower,
solar
top
system,
level.
going to all these
I'll
alien
make sure you have
planets.
clearance to get in.
You know, Destiny did have a lot of good exploration in it for what it was. You know, it was a space MMO, okay? It was Halo meets Warhammer meets Star Wars. I love Destiny for, like, just the world they created, you know? The whimsy, the space magic, all the shit they put in Destiny, I just loved.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
I know what you mean.
Welcome to the Presidio.
Destiny's.
Allow me to be your guide.
Destiny is so good.
Oh, another
Again,
example.
if there's one that does intrigue me and it's just going past the aesthetics of it,
Yeah.
it's Warframe. Warframe is, I would argue, is comparable to Destiny lore amount wise.
You know, I never got into
Good God,
Warframe
is there a
because it's
lot
art
of
style.
lore in Warframe?
I never got into Warframe because of its art style. That's the one reason I never got into it.
That's understandable.
I know it sounds like a really good game, and it sounds like it's just like Destiny, but better in some ways. I just never get into it because of its, like, you know, fucking art style. It just felt too weird for me. I'm not bashing its fan base by any means. I'm just saying it, like, I can't get past the art style.
Yeah, I can see that. It certainly is a bit of a
Taste. It's
different.
a taste.
Yeah.
Yeah, if I had to pick a game from when I was a kid that really piqued my sci-fi interest, it was probably Mass Effect. I mean, I got into Mass Effect, weirdly enough, because of G4, if you remember them.
I do remember them.
Okay, I got into G4. I got into G4 because of the Star Wars Celebration 30th Star Wars Celebration. And just look them up. Their new version fucking sucks. They got cuckolded beyond fucking belief. They're an internet laughing stock, just like the new G4. But that being said, they had some really hot chicks on there. Olivia Munn got started off on that channel. They did like all sorts of events, from Comic-Cons to fucking Adult Film Awards to E3 every year. It was just a glorious time to be alive, you know, to be a nerdy kid in the 2000s with G4. You know, just the sheer amount of stuff they did, the content they were making, it was good. It's from a time that no longer exists, unfortunately, because of the internet. Yeah, but I wish the G4, the new G4 on YouTube could have captured that spirit, but they were just they sold their souls. They fucking sold their souls. Hard. Man, wonder why Olivia Munn and Morgan Webb never came back for that show, and they only got, like, Adam Sessler back. Wonder why that happened. But hey, if it weren't for G4, I wouldn't be doing this YouTube channel right now. They inspired me. The old ones did. But no, what I was saying is, I got into Mass Effect because of X-Play, weirdly enough.
Really?
Yeah, weirdly enough.
Huh. X-Play's gotten me into a lot of different games. They got me into Andromeda.
Yeah, you know, X-Play, the old X-Play, they even did skits. And I miss that in modern day gaming YouTube. You know, I miss that shit. I mean, there's just a nostalgia for it. I don't know. But yeah, Mass Effect. When I first bought it, I played the first 2 games like 20 times over, 1,000 times over. It was like so fun. I fell in love with the world. I fell in love with this great sci-fi universe. I fell in love with this magical sci-fi universe, which was a mix of everything from Star Wars to Star Trek to Babylon 5. Had this deep lore, and the thing I loved most about it was the characters.
Welcome, I am Nelina.
The thing I always love most about Mass Effect were the aliens and the different cultures and the
Would you like me to
characters
see
and
when the
relationships you
consort
build,
will be able
you know?
to meet with you?
Yeah.
I fell in love with that shit. You know, Mass Effect, if we're talking about, like, okay, we're gonna go back to where it's before the thing cut out. If we're talking about good progress, like good social progress, what we'd call modern day progressivism, Mass Effect, dude. The early Mass Effect and Mass Effect games were so good at progress for, like, characters, you know?
Can't I just go in?
I mean, the
I'm afraid
Asari
not.
are gender
You
bending
must
beyond fucking
understand there are
belief.
many who seek the
And Mass
consort
Effect,
services.
not just like sexual,
But if you
like,
wish
or
to leave your
gender,
name,
like,
she'll make every
challenging.
effort to
Like
meet
the
with
fact that Mass Effect allowed you to play as a female shepherd, and you could, like, have relationships with all these different crew members of different species. You know, that was good shit, but it wasn't forced. You know.
Commander Shepard, with the Alliance Navy.
Yeah.
Excellent.
What's your take?
You should hear something in 3 or 4 months.
Nobody's
Honestly,
worth
I
that
think-
much of a wait.
Well, that's not for
I
me.
think if we had kept sci-fi
I have your
and
name
gaming
and your
as
contact.
sci-fi and
Is there
gaming,
anything else?
I'm going off in a friggin' into the weeds, aren't I?
Just go with it. Just go with it.
I think I'm done here.
Oh, well, I hope you'll return again in the future. We always enjoy seeing new
I
clients.
think that it would have been better because
Melina.
back then they weren't forcing
Yes,
it.
Shaira?
They looked at character
Send the commander up
development.
to
They
see
looked
me.
at what
I
was
wish
an
to speak
interesting
with him.
story, and they weren't after
Yes, of course,
trying
mistress.
to essentially clickbait you. What a lot of the stuff is. A lot of you've seen YouTube.
Yeah. I'm a YouTuber. I'm well aware
They
of it.
want you
It
to
appears the consort has taken
genuinely
notice of
appreciate
you.
what
She'd
they
like to meet
made.
with you now.
And if
Where do I
they
go?
made art, it wasn't
head
meant to change the
upstairs.
culture.
She'll be
It was
waiting
meant
for
to
you.
change, help you as an individual, maybe grow in your own relationships. Now you understand the world around you, you know?
Yeah,
It
was a
wasn't
means of
proper-
them expressing their ideas, and you could relate to it.
Yeah, and that's the way sci-fi should work. It should reach out to you as an individual and how you relate to others and how you see yourself and those around you. And that's what makes media different than propaganda, which is why I think a lot of sci-fi media kind of lacks nowadays. If that makes sense.
That is close enough, Commander. I've heard a great many things about
does.
you since your arrival here in
That's
our
just my
citadel.
take, you know, and Mass Effect really got the ball rolling. I mean, like, the Asari, they're the most gender-bending. You want to know about the Asari here, my friend? They're an all-female race. They stay hot and attractive by human standards for their entire lives. The older they get, the bigger their boobs get. They can reproduce with anyone of any gender, of any species. And, I'm like, my nerdy 12-year-old self, please, God, let Asari be real. Let them come down and abduct me. Please.
What exactly do you do?
That depends on your needs.
You know, that was my
I
take on the
offer
Asari.
advice
I
to
mean,
some,
aside from the sex joke there,
comfort to
they're an
others.
extremely fascinating
I have a
culture because
certain
they
problem
defy
that could
gender
use your
norms of
expertise.
what we would expect of you know what I'm trying to say? They really push sci-fi when it's done right, pushes your boundaries. It pushes what you think is normal, you know?
Maybe I can
Yeah,
help.
it makes
I
you
have a friend, Septimus.
It makes you
a retired
evaluate
Turian general.
the current
No
environment. It
discuss
gets you
details.
thinking.
He wanted me to be more than I could be.
Star Trek did that.
We
Star
had
Instead
Wars
of-
falling
did
out.
that.
Now he spends his days in Cora's
Yeah.
den.
Star Trek,
drinking
Star
and
Wars,
spreading lies about
OG
me. If you would
Battlestar
speak to him as a
Galactica.
fellow soldier,
They were there and they
I
made
believe he
you
will listen
think
to
about
you and let the
things, and
matter
you
be.
also learned through it about other key aspects that we're missing from today.
Yeah,
What exactly
I mean,
do you want me to
you know,
tell him?
there are still some games
Appeal
that
to
do
his
that. I
sense
think
of honor.
Starfield does that. I
Remind
think
him
Mass
of his
Effect Andromeda
position
still,
as
for
a
the most part,
general.
does that.
If you can convince him to stop spreading
I
lies
think
about me, I
the
would be
modern day
very grateful.
Mandoverse is a good way of like. I don't know. The Mandoverse just feels like a
Now
good
I
old
must
fashioned
ask you to
Star
take
Wars
your
thing. I
leave.
don't feel like
I have many
the
clients waiting to see
Mandoverse
me.
in general is trying to push any politics. You know.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like the Star Wars TV shows, the exception of Ahsoka, with the exception of the Acolyte, aren't trying to force a narrative. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
Acolyte was just terrible. It was garbage. It was fucking garbage. If you're familiar with what I'm talking about here.
Yeah, I'm familiar with what you're putting down.
The main actress is a bitch. The main actress is a bitch. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what game would you want to live in if you lived in a sci-fi world? What game would you love to live in as a sci-fi nerd? Any sci-fi gaming... Because this is going to be a mostly gaming podcast. We will talk about TV shows. But if you had to live in like a sci-fi gaming world, what would it be? Not counting Star Wars, because that's like its own thing. Star Wars is too obvious. Star Wars is too obvious.
Star Wars and Star Trek out of it. I'm not sure I'd overly want to deal with Stargate because of the varying issues they have.
For me, it's probably Mass Effect.
The council
For me, it's probably Mass Effect.
I doubt it. We've made our reports. Now
Although
we
being
just
a
have to
freaking
trust
Guardian would be
Ambassador
badass, okay?
We don't, sir.
Yeah.
Being a Guardian would be badass. What is your answer, though? What sci-fi world would you want to live in?
In all honesty, probably Elite Dangerous.
You know what? That's fair.
Like-
I mean, or Star Citizen. Or Star Citizen.
Ooh.
Sarah's
Yeah, I could
hiding
take Star Citizen
Give me
too.
more time. Stall them.
Have you played that game yet?
Don't be ridiculous.
Yes, I
Your
have. I
investigation is over, Garrus.
haven't played it recently, but I have played the game. This was probably about 4 years ago, before
Shepard,
people started
Garrus
really
Carey.
noticing it.
I was the officer.
What's
in
your
charge
take on
of
the game so
C-Sec
far? And can you
investigation
inform
into
people
Sarah.
what the game is? For people that might
Sounds
be
like you really want to bring him down.
I don't trust him.
So
Something about
essentially,
him
it's a
rubs me
space simulator,
He's a specter.
straight up.
Everything he touches.
Life
You know,
in
and
space.
people,
I can't find any hard evidence.
I
yep,
think the
actual
council's
like
ready for us, Commander.
flying through space. It will
Maybe
take you
they'll listen
15
to
minutes
you.
to reach a planet, which is realistic given some of the speeds you're traveling at.
Yeah.
Friggin' it. Part of it has an issue of how do I put it?
already started. Come on.
So each of the ships you pretty much have to buy, but
Yeah.
you can get them all in the
The
game.
Geth attack is a matter of some concern. But
I mean,
there's nothing to
I
indicate
just
Saren
you
was
can live in a
involved
city.
any way.
The
They have
investigation by
realistic sized
Citadel
cities
Security turned up
on
no
a
evidence
colony,
to
on a
support your
planet that you
charge
can
of
own an
treason.
apartment in.
An
You can leave an
eyewitness saw
apartment,
him
get in a
kill Nihilus
ship,
in
travel
cold
around the
blood.
galaxy.
We've read the
Do whatever
Eden
the
Prime
fuck you
reports,
want.
Ambassador. The testimony of one traumatized dock worker.
I mean, I heard you can even be a
held
space hobo.
I resent these accusations.
That
Nihilus
too.
is a fellow Spectre and a friend.
That just let you catch him off guard.
Captain
You can also
Anderson,
drop from orbit in a
you
tank,
always
right?
seem to be involved when humanity makes false charges against
Yes,
me.
I do know that. That's one of those.
And
The amount
this
of
must
detail
be
that they
your
put
protege,
into
Commander Shepard,
Star Citizen
the
is
one who let the
freaking
beacon be
ridiculous.
destroyed.
But they've been working on it for years.
So it is a crowd-funded Patreon sort of video game, indie.
Yep.
And how many people are playing it right now? I heard there's wars going on right now in that game.
There
the
are,
one who destroyed
because,
the
you know,
Then you tried to cover it up.
those
Shift the
are
blame to cover your own
never
failures.
not happening
Just like
in
Captain
games.
Anderson. He's taught you well.
MMOs,
But what can you
they're
expect
great. Player
from a
wars, I
human?
love them.
Saren despises humanity. That's why he
Yeah,
attacked
they're-
Prime.
They're amazing.
Your species.
You know, Star Wars
needs
The
to
Republic
learn
still
its
has
place,
player wars
Shepard.
in them.
You're not ready to join the council. You're not even ready to
They're not as
join
big
the
as they used to
Spectres.
be, but they're still fun.
Has no right to say that.
There's still
That's
guild wars
not
between
his
Imperial
decision.
Shepard's
players and
admission into the
Republic players.
Spectres
That's the
is
reason I
not the
loved
purpose
ESO
of
back
this
in the
meeting.
day.
This
Was
meeting
the
has no
frickin'
purpose.
Cyrodiil like
Humans are
campaigns
wasting
from the
your
three
time,
alliances?
Counselor,
Okay,
and mine.
just player wars in general between different factions. It's still there, and I miss the old days of it. But let's bring that back, folks. Let's bring that shit back.
Saren's hiding behind his position as a Spectre. You need to open your
Yeah, that's what we need. We need that player
We've
base.
seen nothing.
Yeah.
There is still one
I mean,
outstanding
Spoder
issue.
still has a decent
Commander
player
Shepard's
base.
vision. It may have been triggered by the beacon.
Are we allowing
They still have a
dreams
decent
into
player
evidence
base.
now?
It's just
How can I defend my innocence against this kind of testimony?
honestly, they're still going strong.
agree.
They made $2 billion. I
Our
think their
judgment
game
must be
made
based on
Bioware
facts
$2
and
billion
evidence,
in
not
10
wild
years.
imaginings and reckless speculation.
Do you have anything else to add, Commander Shepard?
That,
I mean, that's
dang, that's freaking, that's a lot.
That's not. Yeah, that's in 10 years. It's made them $2 billion.
Woo.
And people think it's like a nerd game. You know, people think it's like a Star Wars role play nerd game, which it is. It's fun. I mean, I love exploring the galaxy.
Yeah, that would be fun on its own.
It's a fun, massive space adventure game, you know? I get started my YouTube channel. I started my YouTube channel
You've made your decision.
playing Star Wars Republic.
I won't waste my breath.
I still play it occasionally and post on my channel, you know? But that game is so good. At Coruscant,
The Council has found no
Exploring
evidence
Coruscant,
of any connection between
Tatooine, and
Saren
Hoth,
and the Geth.
killing alien
Ambassador,
species,
your petition
wiping
to
them
have him
out,
disbarred
you
from
know, in
the
the name of
Spectres is
glorious
denied.
capitalism in
I'm
space. I
glad to
fucking
see
love it.
justice was served.
Yeah, it's amazing.
This meeting is adjourned.
And the role playing, it's great. And people think these games don't exist anymore. They still exist. It's just people have become so obsessed with freaking microtransactions and woke politics and gaming that all this good shit is
It was a
ignored.
mistake
You know?
bringing you into that hearing, Captain. You and Saren
Yeah.
have too much history.
That's
It
one of
made the
those-
council
that's
question our motives.
That's
I know.
honestly one of the things that
He's
sucks
working
about
with
it.
the Geth for one reason: to exterminate the entire human race. Every colony we have is at risk.
Yeah,
Every
I mean,
world
honestly,
we control is in danger.
I still
Even
miss.
Earth isn't
I still
safe.
like Destiny because
We need to deal with Saren
Destiny
ourselves.
2 just felt
As
like,
a
especially
Spectre,
towards the end there,
he's
especially
virtually
that
untouchable.
they kept
We
on
need to find
expansion
some way
packs.
to expose him.
Destiny 2 became something amazing. You know,
What about
with the
Garrus,
high
that
of the
CSAC
campaigns, the
investigator?
lore,
We saw him arguing with the executive.
conflicts. I
That's
fell in
right.
love with
He was
Destiny
asking
2.
for more time to finish his report. Seems like he was close to finding something on Saren.
It really is good. Like, again, it's just this last update with Forum that I have an issue with.
Yeah. Ah, man. Changing subjects. I mean,
Any idea where we
what's
can
your
find
take
it?
on Starfield? What's
I
your
have
take
a
on Starfield's
contact in
game?
CSEC who can help us track Garrus down. His name is Harkin.
Forget it. They suspended Harkin last month for drinking on the job. I won't waste my time with that loser.
You won't have to. I don't want the Council using your past history with Saren.
The thing about
as an excuse to ignore
Starfield
anything we turn up. Shepard will handle this.
is
You can't just cut Captain Anderson out of this investigation.
The ambassador's right. I need to step aside.
I need to take care of some business.
it's
Captain,
huge. There's a lot of cool concepts that they bring in, a lot of scientific stuff that they actually do
probably
bring
getting
into
drunk
that
at
one.
Cora's Den.
Yeah.
It's a dingy little club in the lower section.
Star Citizen is very
you said he was a
more
drunken
in depth with
loser.
those physics
Couldn't hurt
than
to go talk.
Starfield. There are a lot of
be
little
careful.
details if you pay attention.
I should go.
There's a lot of
Good luck.
really little details that they
I'll be
put
over in the
into it.
ambassador's office if you need
The
anything else.
ship building is probably the thing that I spend the most amount of time doing.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, for me, it's just the worlds they've built, you know? Like, the freaking cities. And that's something I love about good sci-fi games, are the cities, you know? Going to a city full of, like, alien species and traders and all that shit, that's just maybe that's just my autism. I like me a good fantasy world or RPG or sci-fi world with a really cool, detailed city full of all sorts of districts and shit, you know?
yeah.
And I loved the main capital of the United Colonies. I loved that place.
Is that really?
think you bought this here. I don't sell this mod.
I don't know. That's just why I like Starfield. Just the sheer size of it and all the things that went into it. And just killing random alien monsters. What I loved about Mass Effect was how lived in the world felt, you know?
Yeah, that is something that was missing from Starfield. It did feel pretty sterile. There wasn't a whole lot of interaction, and you could very easily skip through and not find anybody.
I mean, it's still. I mean, another example is No Man's Sky. Don't get me started on that game.
Oh, that game.
What's your take on No Man's Sky?
I like it, but I have yet to actually finish it. At least the, like, lore campaign part of it.
Yeah.
So.
Right. For me, another side. Okay. So, what game really gets your hopes going for. So, you're a space engineer. What game do you really get the most nerd off from, like, realistic wise, when it comes to, like, space engineering and technology? From your engineering perspective.
From the engineering perspective with tech-wise?
Yeah. I'm curious about this one.
Ooh. So there's one that I really like. I like EVE Online for its cosmetics. It looks really cool. The ships I have look cool.
Yeah.
I like it. However,
Come on.
Elite Dangerous is probably either Elite Dangerous or Star Citizen. Probably Elite Dangerous. Just because they have more different customizability that's a little easier than Star Citizen.
Right. So for you, technology-wise, Star Citizen, EVE Dangerous feel the most realistic?
Yeah, Elite Dangerous with its Super Cruise. If you pay attention to it, you're not actually really going faster than light. And then there's EVE's very similar. You have Super Cruise, not FTL. You do have a jump drive, which is a literal jump drive. You have disc rings that will shoot you through basically the fabric of space to your destination. Friggin' shoot, what was it? I just started. Oh, here's one for you that's kind of. It's a simulator game, but Space Trucker Simulator.
Yeah.
If you're talking about the game that I appreciate because its physics are amazing, the technology there, okay, some of it makes sense. A lot of it you can tell is there's just some cosmetic stuff. It's just to kind of add some extra elements to the game.
Right.
But yes, because that is one of the few games that I've been able to find where you don't get automatically brought to a stop. You can just coast.
Right. I mean, honestly, I still recommend people, if you want a nice, free, like, sci-fi space game that you can live in, SWOTR, okay? Just SWOTR, okay? I just wish that game got more attention nowadays.
Yeah, it really does deserve more attention.
It's probably 90% of the shit that's Disney's putting out nowadays right now. But no, another sci-fi game I really wish I am looking forward to on the horizon would probably be the new Mass Effect coming out. I'm looking.
Oh?
Yeah, we're finally getting an answer to the Reaper War. I am looking forward to that.
Well, that took them long enough.
Yeah. Well, it took them 10 years ago. This fucking sequel is Dragon Age. BioWare, where were you between 2014 and 2024? Where the fuck were you?
What do you mean? Where the fuck were you when Skyrim came out? That's what they did. They tried pulling a Skyrim.
Yeah. Still waiting on the new Elder Scrolls game, fucking Todd Howard. Get it fucking going, you fucking cock. Todd Howard, if you don't have the new Skyrim game, the new Elder Scrolls game out by the time I'm 30, I'm gonna come to your house, take a shit on it, and fucking rub it all over your fucking disgusting face, you fucking bastard. Give me my Elder Scrolls 7. 6. 6? Yeah, 6.
Yeah, we're after 6.
Yeah.
Skyrim was 5. We're after 6. We still have yet. They keep saying we're working on it. We're working. Bullshit, you're
It'll
working
be out
on
by
it.
the time Ragnarok happens, okay?
You know, I honestly thought that it was going to be out around the time Betty White died, but I also had the suspicion that she would outlive us all.
Betty White? Yep. That tracks.
Turns out Skyrim's going to just outlive us all. Our grandkids level away from us might.
Why are they taking so much time with it? They're using Elder Scrolls Online and Starfield as fucking psyops against us.
Because they got ate up over Fallout 76 and the fucking space sequel thing to it that was weird and not overly enjoyable for me.
I don't know. I didn't mind
it was
Fallout
literally
4 all that
Fallout
much.
in space.
I didn't mind Fallout 4, honestly.
Fallout 4 was good.
Have you seen the TV
Fallout
show?
3 was top tier. I had.
What'd you think?
I know. In all honesty, it didn't interest me.
Really? Everyone
really
loves
didn't.
it. Everyone loves it.
Yeah, but how many videos do everybody eat? Okay. Hot take. Everybody hated Anthem.
Yeah?
But Anthem is a f***ing beautiful game.
That
and
sounds
no
like
one can deny that.
That sounds like some level grade heresy
So.
there, bud.
Oh.
That sounds like some freaking chaos heresy right there.
Oh, it ain't. Friggin' the main reason why people, I'm gonna say it, the people who complained the most were people who didn't want to either upgrade their console, were on PlayStation, which we both know is wrong, and
Well, it's Sony. Who gives a fuck?
should be considered a crime against humanity.
Sony can fuck itself. Fuck Sony.
Yeah, again, it like being a straight PlayStation person should be a crime against humanity.
Straight PlayStation person? Are you trying to imply that PlayStation is for the LGBT?
No, I'm trying to imply that Nazis use PlayStation.
Okay. You know what?
Yes.
You know what?
Nazis, communists, whatever you want to pin them as. No, but nothing good comes from PlayStation for anybody.
Yeah, but
except maybe what? Friggin' what's their call? There's one they rub in our face.
God of War.
But PC. Oh. Yeah, about that. We've only got like 10 or 12 that have come out for free on Xbox Gold that, you know, like, are arguably similar or better. I do love the God of War story, though.
Yeah. Kratos being the father of Loki. Whoever thought...
Kratos just literally killing every single god he comes across.
Yeah, he kills his own dad. That was awesome.
That sucked.
Hey, Kratos.
That's the only thing that's like... It makes...
Kratos killing Zeus was awesome. That was based. Alright, that was based.
Yeah. That was a good fight. That one, that was good. That was just, yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, about the sci-fi elements, you know, a game I really always... What's a game that you would recommend to real hardcore sci-fi nerds out there that really brings back the old Star Trek vibes?
Ooh. Old Star Trek vibes. Old Star Trek vibes.
Doesn't have to be that new either. It can be a little old.
Ooh. That... I have to break it down by category.
Okay, exploration.
If you're not a FPS person... Okay, if you're not an FPS person, Homeworld. If you're on that RTS side, if you're FPS, you've got... again, Elite Dangerous, Star Citizen, Starfield. Starfield makes me want to go fly a ship out in space.
Mass Effect.
Especially when you come across the Valentine. Mass Effect is beautiful. And blatantly... Okay, Andromeda was focused more on the exploration bit.
3.
Your normal Mass Effect was not.
Classic Mass
That
Effect.
was focused on survival.
Yeah, classic Mass Effect was... You know what I loved most about the first game? Was you are the hero of humanity. Your choices will reflect how the galaxy sees humanity, you know? It's like humanity is now joining the Federation, you know? And we're trying to make a name for ourselves in the galaxy. We're the newcomers. And something I really liked about Mass Effect, it's the same reason why I like, you know, Halo in a lot of ways. How it portrays humanity is like this very, like, strong-willed, very ingenious race, very industrious. And we're not the best, but we're the most driven and we're the most creative, you know?
Yeah. I know what you're saying.
Human ingenuity, you know? It's the same reason why the Tari kicked the Ghoul's ass in SG-1. You know? Fuck.
You want to know one of my favorite episodes?
What?
Because it is actually very realistic in a certain way. You remember when, there was they first went and the Jaffa Rebellion was starting out and they gave them weapons?
Yeah?
You remember how they went through the whole testing thing?
Yeah?
Well, the Tari had weapons of war. The Jaffa, staffs, and most of the Gould-based weapons were, weapons of tyranny.
Yeah, and now...
Weapons of war will win every time.
Is that kind of like, and I kind of like the story how the SG-1, the Tari, America in space, fuck yeah. Yeah, America, literally in SG-1, in the span of 10 years, overthrows 2 galactic alien empires, builds a small fleet of really badass warships, and we befriend some of the coolest aliens in the universe. Where is that modern day sci-fi? I want that back. God damn. Let's just face it, we're never getting aliens as cool as the Gould or, you know, the Wraith ever again.
Friggin', the Wraith were such a good target to deal with. Like,
and you don't think they ever lost their edge? You don't think the Wraith were ever neutered, in your opinion? Or they remain pretty much a consistent threat throughout the entire show?
I think they remained pretty consistent throughout the entire show.
They were never, like, you know, nerfed like the Gould were, in your opinion.
So, here's the thing with the Gould. Once a certain Gould was taken out, you then draw back to the System Lords, who are a bunch of squabbling idiots. We both know this.
Yeah, they're over-the-drawn cartoon villains, alright? Literally.
Very much so. It's not that they were nerfed, it's that, again, they had weapons of tyranny. The Wraith are a whole different monster. The Gould are like, oh, okay, cool, well, these are our stereotypical bad guys. They're actually entertaining to see our good guys go up against pretty cut and dry bad people. Deal with
them. Good villains, okay? We need more villains like that. It's fun. Some of them overcomplicated. And for God's sakes, don't make another Maleficent movie where you turn the villains into, like, fucking... Not every villain has to be a tier character, okay? Fuck.
So... Well, no, I don't particularly like that movie either. There is one thing that I will say. She was right to do what she did.
Yeah.
In Sleeping Beauty, she was right to do that. It was within her legal rights.
Okay,
It made sense.
Yeah. But back to the Gould, okay? Come on. Anubis was just a really cool villain.
Anubis and Apophis. because those were our two, like, big bads that we genuinely had to take our time with dealing.
And let's not forget their really cool bodyguards and armies, the Cold Warriors, the Snake Guard Stormtroopers. I love that shit, dude. And the closest and the closest we get to that is the Mandoverse, which is probably this generation's version of SG-1. Which, you know, fine, whatever. It's good. But just give us something besides Star Wars for a good sci-fi show. Give us sci-fi shows that don't suck, you know? Fuck.
Yeah.
Give us
God, have they read any good ones coming out?
I mean, the new Star Trek shows are abysmal at best. Okay, not completely.
I don't even watch them.
Picard's okay.
There's
Picard's
some that
okay. Let me put it this way. You know how I have my own trauma? Watching Picard, 90 years old, talk to Q, you know, the space god. His best friend, who's literally a space god. Watching Q give the speech to Picard, my oldest friend, I am dying alone. I do not want that for you. I do not want you to die alone. And because you... So literally, short story short, Picard has a choice to use time travel to make it so he never went down the life path he chose, you know?
Yeah.
He chooses the person he is, and Q says it this way: you chose the man you are. And because you choose him, perhaps now someone else will find him worthy enough to choose as well. Perhaps this time he will even find love. If you understand anything about those characters, it's heartbreaking, okay? It gets to your core, okay? You know what I mean?
Especially since Q is such a... He really is a complex character.
He's not a villain! He's not a villain, dude!
No, he's a trickster.
He's like Loki.
He's an OG trickster, but he's also ends up building an attachment to Picard, which works in our favor.
Yeah. Honestly, as much as I like to give Star Trek shit, and I hate Next Generation, Picard is one of my favorite sci-fi characters of all time, okay? As much as I like to give Next Generation shit and call it an after-school special in space, and as much as I like to bash the Federation for being a bunch of tanky space communist propaganda, I fucking hate the Federation. I'll take the Republic any day of the week. I'm sorry, I hate the Federation.
Well,
they're a bunch of high culture.
The thing about the Federation is they became a utopia, which we both know is not something that'll happen in real life.
Yeah.
But they became a utopia.
And that's why the Federation works. I mean, I also like the Federation because it's just how perfect it is. That's my biggest issue with it. Just how perfect the characters are and how perfect everyone is. And this is where I'm going to take into the next big segue in the sci-fi segment, okay? You know what my biggest issue with... You know what my biggest issue with Star Trek is? And why I hate utopian sci-fi? And Professor Steels can go fuck himself on this one. Star Trek sucks, and Firefly is superior. Firefly and Stargate are superior to Star Trek because it's not perfect. The characters aren't perfect. The government they work for isn't perfect. The world they live in is not a world without war or famine or death. It's not some space perfect world. The characters are truly flawed, and they do terrible things in war. And that's why it's more relatable, and they actually have more character development and have deeper writing than Star Trek ever did, with the exception of maybe Picard and Data. Mic drop. What's your take?
Roasted in the fire. Damn.
Is that a good mic drop? Was that good?
Yeah.
What's your take?
Yeah, that works. It's pretty good.
What's your take on that take?
Most of Next Generation do not have anywhere near the same characters that Picard and Data have. Their character progression is significant and beneficial. Everyone else is a background character, to be honest.
Like some of them, maybe Worf. Worf is okay. Worf is okay. I mean,
Worf.
The Klingon, you know. Worf is good, but I don't know. I mean, something else. Star Trek just always felt so too perfect for me. Maybe that's why I like I like Enterprise more than like most of the baseline Star Trek shows, because it's human. There's a military aspect to Enterprise you don't get with the rest of the Star Trek series. Captain Archer has to make hard choices for his crew to survive. Once again, going back to the Mass Effect element, you know? And that's why I'm not a big fan of utopian sci-fi. There's no risk. There's no hard choices. And, you know, that's the reason why I love Mass Effect so much. You have to make hard choices for the future of humanity. In the process, do you sell your humanity in the process so your species lives? Or do you do the right thing and bring about hardship for your own people, you know? Who do you choose, the alien or the human, you know?
Yeah.
And then there's, once again, those military decisions in Mass Effect. Like, who do you save, your best friend or the woman you love? Or the woman you're trying to bang at the very least, you know? And these are choices like you make as a character in this world, you know? It's weird, you know. Those are real character stories that I think a lot of people in the military actually do deal with. And I think BioWare is good at making you choose between which friend you want to save, which one of these characters you bond with, and you get to know which one do you want to save, you know? Because honestly, if I was forced to choose between my best friend and a partner, I don't know who I would choose. Honestly, it would be hard as fuck for me. Okay. And that's why Mass Effect really stands out to me, you know?
Yeah, I completely understand that.
I would never want to be in the
That's something that not a lot of games have.
I think sci-fi that doesn't have those, like, and that's why I don't like Star Trek all much. It doesn't carry that gravity of the situation, you know?
There's always some way everyone comes out happy.
And even Star Wars towards the end there, you know, even Star Wars was, even by the time the New Jedi Order was rolling around, they killed off Chewbacca, okay? Okay, spoiler for all those who haven't read the Legends books. They killed Chewie in the first book of the 2000s New Jedi Order book run. Rip Chewbacca. Who would you rather see die, Han or Chewie? Honestly.
Lando.
You'd rather see Lando die than either Han or Chewie, huh?
Yep, I will say that we do have to make a note about a certain he died saving people.
Chewie died saving people. He did. Yeah, you know who he died saving? Han's son, Anakin Solo. And you know how Chewie died? It literally took an entire moon to kill him.
Yeah.
Which is way more badass than how Han died. In those non-canon movies.
Oh, you mean oh hey! I'm your son, I'm going to kill you now! Backstabbing little shit.
He was an over-glorified... Okay, Kylo Ren was a 35-year-old emo, dark Jedi Sasuke wannabe. I'm sorry.
He was a Vader wannabe. Christian Haydenson was better.
Yeah. I mean,
honestly, I honestly think Christian Haydenson had better acting
than Adam Driver, huh?
Episode 2. The character was just written. They fucked Kylo up so bad.
You know he is a good actor. The guy who plays Kylo is a really good actor, right?
I know, that's the part that sucked about it, is he's a really good actor, but they suck for what they did to Kylo. and they made him just a whiny man-child.
Who's not even like a teenager. He's not even like close to his 20s at this point. He was like 38, 5 when they made those movies. I mean, at least Hayden Christensen was like 18 when they did that shit, okay?
Yeah. He didn't have as much... He wasn't in their acting world for very long at that point. Unfortunately, because of Star Wars, his career did tank.
Yeah. Yeah. Ian McGregor did well for himself, so did Natalie Portman, but, you know... yeah. Yeah. Doesn't Star Wars just destroy the careers of everyone involved in it, unfortunately?
No, not Ewan McGregor.
It destroyed freaking Carrie Fisher's career.
I think it definitely affected Natalie Portman's career.
Oh, it put her on the map, you kidding me?
Like I said, it affected her. Ewan McGregor, well, he's forever Obi-Wan now, no matter what he's in.
I mean, Samuel Jackson is just everyone's favorite black guy. I mean...
Okay, the only reason... We both know, and it needs to be put on public record, we all know the only reason he had a purple lightsaber is because of his daughter.
I'm unfamiliar with that. Why does his daughter get a purple lightsaber?
Favorite color. So he asked about it, because originally it was just blue and green.
Okay, you know what? Okay, I did not know that up until now. Fuck.
Yeah, originally with episode 1 and 2 and all that,
yeah.
It was originally just blue and green. That's why you only see, or you predominantly see, blue and green and maybe blue, green, red, maybe one or two others, not
orange
too
and
often.
yellow, orange and yellow. That was a thing for a while.
Yeah, well, those you can actually see in the Clone Wars, is the thing.
No, my biggest issue with Star Wars, man, Star Wars was always a great mythology for me, you know? And this is where we're going to get back to where we cut off before how we started this conversation off. I miss 90s sci-fi. I really miss 90s sci-fi. I miss 90s nerd culture in general. All the old shows, like from Stargate to Star Trek, there was just it wasn't just writing, there was hope. There was hope for the future. Not just hope for the future, there was hope for humanity. You know? It wasn't all political and in your face about everything. It was hope. It wasn't as divisive. It was, I mean, Star Wars and Star Trek, Stargate, it's all about this diverse cast of all these weird characters who come together and they complement each other. They're not pitted against each other because of their gender or their religion or their politics. I don't know. And this is why I prefer the older sci-fi shows, whether it be Star Trek or Stargate, over the 90% of the shit on TV nowadays. What's your take?
Yeah, same.
Like, even the Mando, I mean, yeah, it has a better cast than most shows, but at the end of the day, it still doesn't carry that same feeling, you know? It was diversity and inclusivity without it being me against you. It was diversity and inclusivity. I'm gonna prove my worth as a woman soldier, but I'm not gonna try and outdo you and fucking, like, make it all about me. I'm gonna try and earn your respect because I respect you and I want to work with you. Where is that modern day sci-fi, you know? What's your take? You're a military guy, you're a sci-fi nerd.
Yeah.
Or hey, I'm black, I'm not gonna, like, make a 20-minute fucking cringe-ass terrible music video saying how anyone who criticizes my acting is a racist white piece of shit. look at Teal'c, okay? For all you Gen Zers, look up Teal'c. You want a good black character who actually wasn't toxic, but was a good altogether, like Uncle Iroh of an African American character in a sci-fi show? Look up fucking Teal'c, okay?
Yeah, friggin' he is honestly probably one of my favorite all-time characters too.
Yeah, oh yeah, definitely. You know he plays the voice of Kratos,
A whole of
right?
HD1, but yes.
Okay. For me, it's Jack
That I
O'Neill.
did know.
For me, it's Jack O'Neill.
He's cool in a different way.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta hand credit though to Star Trek. I mean, why did sci-fi go from being this very like diversity inclusivity with a point that wasn't divisive to it's me versus you, all this shit, you know? Why'd that happen and where'd it go?
Yeah, friggin' I don't know where it went. I have no clue.
You know what's ironic though? Fantasy shows have more of that element nowadays than sci-fi shows do. Weirdly enough. Like Rings of Power, they have a pretty like Rings of Power. They still have that.
They're pretty lit.
Rings of Power
They're pretty lit.
I mean, dude, there's a white dwarf married to a black dwarf priestess. There's elves being friends with dwarves. I mean, Rings of Power has a pretty inclusive cast. It's not like culture war based. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, then again,
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But gone are the days of...
It's all really good, to be honest.
Gone are the days of the crew of the Enterprise. Gone are the days of military units that are a family, you know?
Yeah. Actually, yeah.
Okay, you know what? I'm
That's
gonna
one
go
of those things.
here. I'm not trying to, like... I'm not over, like... I am... This is something I want to say. Are you familiar with the Mandalorian culture before the Disney buyout?
Yes.
Are you familiar with the woman who wrote the Mandalorian culture as it was known for over a decade? Was a former British Special Forces operative who wrote those books.
Really?
Yeah, she also wrote Halo books. She writes a lot of sci-fi novels for like Halo, Gears of War. I should give you one of her books one of these days. She wrote an entire book series about the Clone Commandos.
Huh.
And she actually created the Mandalorian language, believe it or not.
Oh.
And the Mandalorian culture. And you know what's...
That's freaking cool.
You know what's really cool about the Mandalorian culture? Anthropologists here. They're based off the Celts. In Mandalorian culture, everyone is encouraged to do warrior training and be a warrior. Mandalorians have massive families, sometimes up to like 20 or 30 kids, but only like 2 or 3 of them usually are like the direct offspring of the family. You know what they are? It takes a village mentality to raise a family culture, and usually your mom and dad, most of their kids are war orphans from various different species across the galaxy.
Yeah.
And there's this huge emphasis on culture and loving your... You know what the biggest shame, the most important thing to a Mandalorian man was? More so than being a warrior? Being a dad.
What?
And if you actually were considered more of an outcast if you abandon your family than if you were to like cower in the field of battle. One is a far worse cultural shame. And the biggest insult you can ever do to your family, the worst insult a Mandalorian father can have, is for his sons to disown him, which is a thing in their culture. His children disown
That
him.
makes a lot of sense.
For his children to disown him.
That does make
not his sons. Not just his sons, his children.
Yeah.
And Boba? Here's the cool thing about Boba. You know he becomes Mandalore eventually, right? The leader of the Mandalorians. Yeah. Guess who his second command is? A gay Mandalorian blacksmith whose husband is also a blacksmith. And this is back in 2009. Huh. Once again, progressive inclusivity without it being forced, you know?
Yeah.
And I want you to go back to that point you were making before about like sci-fi. You're saying before we cut out earlier how sci-fi has always had like elements of LGBT, like trans, gay people, non-binary people, and like science fiction, geek media for a long time. I was wondering if you could elaborate on that more.
Okay, and I have a couple examples to pull out here. Sci-fi has always been there to make us think, make us question, make us look, make us curious.
Yeah.
Make us see beyond skin, too. There's always one of those in every single sci-fi series.
Yeah.
Where the person who looks like they're the bad guy, well, they're actually a really good person. Yeah. And the main example I want to pick from is if you go back and you look at Star Trek The Next Generation, the first season, look at what they're wearing. Look at their clothing. That will make its point for itself.
Yeah. And honestly, if we're talking about like good actresses, like people think like not just like the shows themselves relating, but the actors that got to play these characters are so much better of a higher tier than most actors are. I mean, look at Tayla.
Yeah, for some of them.
I mean, look at Tayla. She's a mixed, like, African American, Native American woman. You know, and she was a great actress. Whoever played her did a good job. Ronan Dex, another example. I love Jason Momoa. Ford. Okay, Ford. I wish we could have gotten more Lieutenant Ford. I wish he could have come back. You know, Ford. I wish Ford could have come back.
Yeah.
They fucked. He was not annoying. He was a good character. A lot of people don't like him. I really liked him, you know? I liked him.
Yeah, he was all right.
He was a good kid. He was like the green kid, you know?
Yeah.
He was that green rook. And are there people like him in the Air Force?
What, the friggin' naive ones?
Yeah, the naive, like, lieutenants.
Butter bars.
But so, sci-fi
Only the military will appreciate the fact that there's a reason why all the LTs are getting lost, Grant. That's why all the LTs get lost. They don't know. Oh, unless they're prior enlisted, then you don't. They won't get lost. They'll tell you where to go, and they'll be right every time.
Yeah.
But you're like straight out of OCS, Butterbar.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're pretty. It's the same as what happens to your like fresh into basic.
We just lost contact with
privates sometimes.
There's something massive.
But the enlisted side gets rid of that first
Is
a
this
lot
what Shepard
faster.
warned us about?
Yeah.
So yeah.
How long do we have?
Here's the thing about sci-fi shows I've always wanted to see happen, you know? I've always wanted... A good show I really liked back in the day was probably Star... What was the name of it? I'm trying to think. 90s sci-fi in general was just such a funner era, you know? There was a simplicity and like an innocence to all these sci-fi shows. Well, not innocence per se, but you know what I mean. There's like a sense of like hope. It wasn't like everything wasn't in your face, you know? Politics wasn't always in your face. And when there was politics, it was nuanced and approached with, like, critical thinking, you know? To all these different situations. Like, look at all this shit Enterprise and the SG-1 crew they dealt with. All the different cultures and issues they dealt with, you know?
Yeah.
There wasn't like this, we have to make you look our way sort of thing, you know?
Yeah, it was always... They left the people with autonomy.
Commander.
Yeah, and as much... And I'm not...
that anymore, James.
For all my liberal friends who watch this, know I'm still on your side.
The Defense Committee wants to see
you can't deny that a lot of the leftist policies in sci-fi
What's going on?
are really hurting a lot of
Just told me they
good
needed
art,
you.
okay? This is to all my friends on the left, who I'm still technically on the left myself.
Anderson?
But
Admiral?
I really don't like how we become so like moralistic and self-righteous in our media. The way we like to criticize the Jesus freaks, the religious conservatives in our media. You know what I mean?
In such a hurry. Admiral Hackett's mobilizing the
And that's a message to all my left friends who read this. I'm still on your side. But guys, don't be so moralistic. Let people live their lives.
We don't know.
And I don't like how modern day art and media is so fucking divisive and based in trying to up
we're not
people who disagree with us, you
Not
know?
by a long shot.
Tell that to the Defense Committee.
Unless we're planning to talk the Reapers.
What's your take, Dakota?
The committee is a waste of time.
They're just scared. None of them have seen what you've seen.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about. Why did
I know what you're talking about.
Why did the culture war have to bleed its way into sci-fi?
You've seen how
That's
they
what I'm trying to say.
what they plan to do to us.
The same reason why a lot of stuff bled its way into
took away my
sci-fi and that.
You know that's not true.
Which is kind of like a middle finger to like the sci-fi shows with SG-1 and like the culture of it from the 90s.
It's your knowledge of the Reapers that kept that from happening.
That and your good
It's
work.
kind of a middle finger to the concept of the Enterprise.
I trust you.
Middle finger to the concept
And
of
so does
SG-1.
the committee.
I'm just a soldier, Anderson. I'm no politician.
I don't need you to be either.
It's a middle finger to everything these shows
help us
represented.
stop the Reapers.
100%.
You want to continue on that one?
Good luck.
So the shows always were there to challenge us and make us think and question, but they made it part of the story.
Anderson?
When you force that into the story, it makes for a bad story.
Ashley.
Yeah.
Lieutenant Commander?
You know,
Go in there.
nobody
I
likes
can never
that.
tell with them. Sorry, Shepard. It's been...
Yeah, my base issue, and we got 20 minutes left on this.
We were...
Hope that's cool with you. 20 more
The
minutes work
reports
for you?
coming
20,
in
20,
are
30 more
unlike
minutes?
anything we've seen.
Sure. I can make that work.
We've lost contact with everything beyond the solar relay.
We'll see where this goes.
Whatever
20
this
minutes.
is, It's incomprehensibly
My
powerful.
issue with
You brought me
sci-fi,
here to confirm what
with
you already
when
know.
it's done right,
The
it gives
Reapers
you
are
hope.
here.
It's a masterpiece of questioning without making you feel like an idiot for having
Then,
your previous beliefs.
how do
It
we
doesn't
stop them?
dehumanize you.
Stop them.
It makes you
This isn't about strategy or
question
tactics.
reality without
This is about
feeling an
survival.
idiot for having those questions, you know?
The Reapers are more advanced.
Yeah.
There must be some
And that's
way.
as political as I'm gonna get with this for the now. Now back to like the cool stuff about sci-fi. What sci-fi world would you love to live in most and
we have to stand
foremost?
together.
And what would you do in that sci-fi world?
That's it? That's our plan?
Admiral, we've lost contact.
Like what kind of like sci-fi like archetype would you love to be? Like you're like a bounty hunter, a space marine,
Sir,
a smuggler.
UK headquarters has
What would
been-
you love to be and what world would it be in?
Honestly, an explorer.
Not a space marine?
No.
You wouldn't want to be part of SG-1?
I mean, yes, but also no at the same time.
Okay, you want to be explorer, like a military explorer, or just like a enterprise explorer?
Like a genuine explorer finding things.
Huh, that'd be kind of cool.
Left, turn left, turn left, turn left.
What do we do?
Would you have like your own crew? Well, like, would you have aliens? Would you have like robots? Like, what would your ship look like? And how would you personally design your ship?
We
fight or we die.
We should get to the Normandy.
Honestly, I look at from on the ship. I would honestly probably just have onboard AI.
Onboard AI?
Yeah, I don't think I really see a whole lot of benefit in having a lot of organic, just going out and exploring.
Okay. I mean, I would like to be like a... You know what I like to be? A xenoanthropologist. A xenoanthropologist.
Shepard!
Like Daniel Jackson.
Shepard! Come on.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Take this.
Okay, what's your take on Daniel Jackson, like an anthropology in space? Do you think how would that work? How would
Lieutenant Commander
what
Williams,
would being an anthropologist in like a sci-fi setting like Stargate or Mass Effect be like?
I can't raise
what
the
would it
door.
look like, and
You'll have the
how would you see it playing out?
We'll meet you at the landing zone. Hand us enough.
Well, Daniel Jack.
Go ahead.
He wouldn't technically exist, is the thing. There would have to be, we would standard train would dictate we establish a forward operating base, then we make first contact with the locals, and then we have an anthropologist or somebody smart in that field make us the information so our people in the field can do the thing. With having a few come in to the field, to the fob, get to the base.
Let's go.
Yeah.
And then helping us interact. Most of the stuff that he does, is in all honesty not that different from what a lot of our special ops guys in the Middle East had to deal with. You have a different culture, a different group of people that speak a different language. So you have to get a translator, or you have to get somebody who can vouch for you in a certain way.
Yeah.
Prove your authenticity, I guess.
Shoot him.
So there is that.
Yeah.
Take him out.
You still with me?
Yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm still with you. That's pretty much it, though.
What do you think is the coolest space war series you ever played in? Like, what's been your most favorite military sci-fi game you've played in of all time?
Ooh.
Mine's Mass Effect 3.
Ooh. I don't know.
Like, how do you feel about the war, like, how the war is waged in Mass Effect 3? Is it, like, the strategy and the politics of it? Does that make sense from your perspective?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't let him grab you.
I guess in general, my biggest issue with, like, sci-fi and gaming, I mean, what I miss about Mass Effect 3 was the cosmic horror of it all, you know? I mean, yeah, it's full of all the alien species and all the weird, zany space cultures. But the Reapers, okay? Things like space demons and, like, eldritch horrors in space
find a way out of here.
just make things terrifying, you know?
Watch it!
Or the Borg, you know? Like, imagine what imagine what could be out there in the stars. Like, you know, are you familiar with Dead Space? Are you like, I'll let you answer that question, then I'll ask my question.
Yes, I am familiar with Dead Space. No, I'm not going back down that very dark hole. Dead Space led to a bunch of other shows and space games that started getting really creepy. And not in like a Doom way, in like
yeah,
make you think there's actually something in your room with you in real life. Creepy.
Yeah, I mean, then there's the Reapers, which are just cosmic extinction machines, you know?
Oh, God.
Are you familiar with the Great Filter Theory?
Yes.
How do you feel about that? Is it accurate, and do you think it could be there? Could there be a cosmological great filter in the universe that maybe a cosmic force like the Reapers or the darkness from Destiny exists? Do you think it's possible?
Well, I'm gonna say that in some galaxies somewhere it probably doesn't exist. The issue with that is there's a lot of space between galaxies and a lot of space between planets. Statistically, yes, there is probably at least one somewhere out there that does exist.
Like some galactic...
Whether or not we'll ever find it, see it, or interact with it as a species, different story.
Do you think there's any other life in this galaxy besides us?
Yes.
Watch it.
Just at a base mathematical sense, even if it's like 0.001% of our galaxy has habitable, like genuinely habitable planets, or what we would consider habitable, that's still a lot.
And you told me that
that's a lot.
We might have actually found a Dyson sphere recently.
Take my hand.
Yes, there was a article that came out, and the light pattern that came from it was different than what we had from another star, where there is a planet around that star. We've identified that.
Yeah.
But
this is a goddamn. Yep, I won't be responsible.
The thing about it is, we won't know until we get there.
War, but it's worth knowing no matter how.
Now, in the last two segments of this series, podcast, they'll cover about 15 minutes.
I thought we'd have more
Are there
time.
any space things you'd recommend to people? Like, are there any news you tell the space fans out there that might give them hope the world of sci-fi isn't too far away?
We need to go.
The Citadel.
It'll be everywhere soon enough.
Any exciting space news you want to share with the viewers?
The council.
In all honesty,
No, but you were a council inspector.
The thing that I could see being the most would be Starfield. The main reason why I would say that is because the materials they use are very similar to what we have today that we can use.
Grab some ammo.
Okay. Like, what about, like, they're also working on an FTL drive.
Come on, it hasn't been that long since you've handled a weapon.
Yes, we've been working on an FTL drive for a very long time.
Commander Williams.
How's that doing, by the way?
ETA 3 minutes.
Good question.
You'd have to kill me if you had answered that question, huh?
No, I don't know the answer to that question, and I'm curious myself.
Okay. How do you feel about, like, the Mars exploration? Do you think that's going in the right direction?
I think that, yes, it is headed in the right direction.
Would it be a one-way trip, or do you think it is possible?
Normandy.
Would it be a one-way trip if we
So,
sent to Mars?
with our technology today, it very well could actually be, like, around. There are ways to do round trips. We are able to do it. It takes a long time is the issue.
Keep your head down.
You've got a lot of space there to get through, and
finish them all.
Not necessarily a whole lot of speed in comparison.
Right.
Over here.
And I guess the last segment I want to say on
What
the
happened
subject is,
Our gunship
what would
was
you
shot
recommend
down.
to people
We
who
barely
are
made it.
interested in space and science fiction?
You have a radio?
And like, what advice would you give to
one in the
people who
gunship,
want
but it's gonna be
to
crawling
experience the closest as we can get to
Stay here, son.
the
We'll
world
get you
of
out of here.
Stargate or Mass Effect? Where would you recommend they look for it?
Come on. Let's get to that gunship.
You with me, buddy?
Yep. Sorry.
You're all good. Like, is it possible they could sign up for the Air Force and become, like, test monkeys for an alien space project, like SG-1?
Pretty good question. don't know. Wait, yeah. Thinking about it, I really don't know.
Yeah. Well, Dakota, thanks for being on the show, man. I really appreciate it. This is fun.
Over here. I found a radio.
I guess, really thanks for being on the show, man. Appreciate it. Folks, thanks for tuning in.
Normandy, this is Anderson.
Yeah, we got more accounts like this in the future. And Dakota, once again, thanks for joining, buddy.
By a down
yeah, man. Thanks for having me.
I'm activating
till next time, folks. See you soon.
Send support.